Here we are ready for the next story deck challenge. I'm loving the cards that we've drawn. These three here are very much in my lane and will allow me to do all the things that I love to do, whilst I will try and extend and challenge myself. The photos and special days is a little bit harder, probably because I'm more of an everyday storyteller and don't have as many photos of special occasions, or certainly not. I'm cheating a little bit. I wanted to use these papers, so I could, I had to find photos that went with them. So the photos that I've got are a reunion between, we had some people visit us around April who we haven't seen in, I think it's almost 30 years. So these were people that we met and became very good friends with when we lived in Glasgow. Please excuse that their hair doesn't look like that. My husband, they're Irish, and my husband and her husband just get along so famously, and they were being really silly with wigs. And they were also having fun with my husband's daughter's car. Anyway, I'll tell you more of the story as we go along. There's also a lot of warm tones in here. I could have gone really bright with the yellow, but I'm seeing this lovely acorn colour and it will tone back the yellow. I'm probably going to bring in a little bit of navy, and also yeah, just had a photo of how I'd had to set up an extra bed in our lounge room. So that's where I'm at, and let's see where that takes us. Okay, so this is where I'm starting. I have an idea or some inspiration for a layout that uses strips like this. The strips will come back from the other side, and you put some stamping in between. The inspiration I had a completely different opposite side, but I'll talk about that in a moment or later. But I also I love grabbing inspiration from ideas books, and whilst I may not follow these, I grabbed this because it had the stripes and I thought it might help me with photo placement. And there was another one on the other side, even though the stripes are going the wrong way. But it's all just sort of ideas. I love to glean bits and pieces of ideas from everywhere. The other thing that I do is I've worked out which photos I definitely want to use and the orientation of them. You might not have these mats with the words printed on them. I have those as a close to my heart maker, but I do find it distracting sometimes because I tend to mat my photos. So if you could produce yourself a set of templates, if you like, template mats, which you just use to work out how your photos, and I don't want to cover all the stripes here, so I want to look at how the design might work with the photos that I have in terms of their orientation and size. So I'm just using these, I guess, as a little guide as to how it might fit where I put my title. So that's just my tip for now. I'm pretty happy with that in terms of colour range, a little bit of neutral. I don't want the blue to be too dominant, and I don't want this desert rose to be too dominant, so I wanted to even them out. So I think I'll work with those widths, and I did just play with those a little bit. So I'll cut a few more strips and have those coming from the other side, and then sort of work out how it's actually going to work. I'll come back and show you the next stage. Okay, I'm back again. I've cut a bunch more of the strips, the same width, same colours, but I think it's going to be too much all the way across. I also had another idea that I saw some inspiration in terms of the stamping, where you stamp lots of words. Now, we'd had like a strip with the words coming out. I think I need to contain the words, so I thought I would put the words on this here. So I wanted to carry the colour across. This would be the most neutral. So I'm going to put that there and then do lots of word stamps. So I'm just going to tack this in. I could have had those stripes go all the way through, but I really wasn't sure whether I was going to have a gap. So I'm just going to tack that in temporarily so that I've got something to butt these up against, and then I'll pull that off to do the stamping. So I'm just playing with how it works out on this side. I was going to have it sort of all the way down here with a bit of stamp in between, but now I'm actually thinking if this is staggered and it's more of an icon, or it'll allow each sentiment, maybe I can put a sentiment here. Not sure yet, but I do like the idea of it being more random. So I think I'm going to do that. Maybe I should go looking for my stamp images first. So this is definitely evolving, and I'm loving the idea of the staggering. So I thought I could just stamp them all and decide where I put them, but I don't actually know which color I want to do them. So I'm actually just laying my stamp images in the positions to see what it looks like. I like the idea of this, but I think it might be a little too much. So I'm just going to try staggering the photos so that some of them are over there. So let's just try swapping these around a little. So it might create, so it's not quite so heavy here. Still need to fit that photo in. Could go right over maybe. And I could still, it may just be too many words. I've got to stamp some words on here, but these are going to be more random. I think they're going to be more randomly stamped. So this might still be too much. So maybe I do, how about with this down here? I can't decide about this one. So maybe I do need to stamp each of these because I want to lift them up. Because I could have less words and just do some textures in between, because that'll work too. Okay, I'll do that. I'm going to go off camera, stamp all those, cut them out so that they're sitting there, and I think I'll get a better feel for how that looks. Okay, I thought I better jump on because I'm evolving and I wanted to sort of do the stamping and get that ready, but my thoughts are changing, so I'm just stopping or putting the video back on whilst I show you what I'm doing. Don't like this at all. That didn't work. Thought I'll park that for a minute. I want them to vary up a little bit. And I thought of this little banner idea. I've got to think of a way to cover that up. I should have done second generation. I do like the word love this up there. So I've got to work out how I'll do that. But that's where I'm heading. I want to raise some, want to put some texture behind. Some are being backed, some are not, but this is an idea that I've only just come up with in terms of letting the embellishment come out of the line just a little bit, not on all of them. Don't want them to be too heavy. But anyway, so let's see what I can do to repair that. Maybe a banner because it is the top left and maybe it is the main heading. I was supposed to use one word, wasn't I? Okay, maybe that's going to be up there. Maybe this will be something else. Okay, got to get back to my cards. Okay, just a little warning. When you put stamp images out like this, and then you bring a trimmer over and you put it on top, what do you think happens? I just had a major panic because I thought, that's not the title I wanted here. It was Girl Talk and I couldn't find it anywhere. It is stuck to the bottom of my trimmer. And that was the one that I wanted there. So be careful when you put your stamp images. Feels like a good idea, maybe not so much. Okay, I'm in the home straight now. Certainly for this side, decided not to put one across there at all. Made that more of a feature. So this will sort of become really a bit of a cluster. And then I will have my one word title up there because I think, which I haven't tested yet, if I find my other photo map template. Oh, does anyone else have trouble finding things like me? Oh, it's a square one. It's right there. That one's only goes up to there. Yes, so my one word title can go up here. Haven't come up with the one word yet. Thinking of crack, which sounds really strange, but if you know Irish people, crack is like a laugh. It's a real crack. It's a real Irish, might even have a derivation of Glaswegian in there, but it's just, it relates to these people. Okay, let's trim off there. I need to stamp that one. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. Let's put that one somewhere safe and let's keep going. Okay, so a few days have passed and I haven't stuck my photos down yet, although I've cut them to size. I think I'm going to try and squeeze a little bit more off the photos, which is just to give it a little bit more of a white border. I've done some blending brush in these two areas, having learnt from my disaster over here, and just tone on tone with blending brushes. And my word is crack, as I had alluded to earlier in the video. Not technically just one word, but I really think it needs a qualifier, because if I just put crack, it sort of looks like Craig. It's going to need some exclamation. I have done my journaling on the computer, but I haven't worked out yet where to put it. So I think what I'm going to do, when I typed up the journaling, started to think whether I put journaling here and then not put the stamping, because really I've covered stamping techniques here, but I still like the idea of some words here, and I've got so much journaling that it doesn't even fit on here. So this is only tacked down anyway, so I may raise this up, and I think I'll do a little Stacey trick and have a big long journaling tab or tag that sticks up, because I need both sides. So I think I'll do that now. I will go off and print up the journaling to stick it under and pull this off and start to look at the stamping. Okay, so I've done my journaling. This is just a draft piece on regular paper, but I'll be printing it on some card and it's going to slip behind the page. So I don't need to worry about this piece now and how that journaling may interfere with it. One of my original thoughts was these sort of blocked letters or words. So there's two, I have many of them actually, but these are the two that I grabbed that had words that spoke to me. So this is a much older stamp, Laughter, Fun Times Together, Sunshine. And this is a brand new one, which actually is something that isn't released until November. I've just got to work out, originally I was thinking I'd put the journaling on here and leave room and make that part of the journaling, but then I had way too much journaling for that, so that wasn't going to work. So now I'm trying to work out how I can put these words with just some sort of squiggle or line. So at the moment, my thoughts are thinking maybe this one here, just bringing sometimes with lines in between, so the words are going to pop off. I'm not sure. I've imagined this could be something I have to try on a couple of different. In fact, I might try on some scraps. Yeah, I'll do that. So let's see how that plays out and where it goes. So no sooner had I said that I would test it out on a scraps piece, I realised that's not me at all, and I just like to dive in. But dived in too quickly I did, and I hadn't seasoned the new image, or the image I hadn't used before, so now I'm having to over stamp it. Managed to do that reasonably successfully, and I've just moved the whole strip to the left so that it's sitting closer to those big wide strips on the left hand page. I just want to work out what order to put the colours in, and I don't want the colours to match the stripes that they're next to. So I started off with the Desert Rose and the Fun Times block of words. And then I've really got to work out how many stripes I'm going to do in between each word. So that's what I'm laying out now, doing one either way. That's why I thought I'd start in the middle and see what it looks like. And I'm pretty happy with 2 stripes, I think. So now I can pick the next word and the next colour. I remembered this time to season the words, and now I've got the acorn and the word laughter. So now I can just work my way up, putting 2 rows between each word, filling in the bits to the left and the right, and grabbing the next word. Third colour is Sapphire, and this time it's a small word. I think this one says Friends. It was off the newer stamp set. Fill it out with that mink again, and I have to be careful every time I go to that left there. I'm actually quite terrified. You can't see in fast motion, but it looks like I might stamp on that completed left page. I'm popping it under there so I can just draw around that mat, because I'm coming back down to the bottom of the strip now, and I've got to work out whether I want the words sticking out, but I want them to be a little bit random, so some might be half out. Have I got some smaller ones? So that's what I'm doing now. The first one says Moments, and I'm now repeating the colours. A couple more strips of the mink, and then I've grabbed the one. I'm going back up the top again because I'm really not sure what I'm doing at the bottom, and that one says Sunshine. couple more rows of mink. I'm really getting into the throes of it now, not having to think too much. And yes, I finally moved that white mat away because I thought it was only a matter of time before I got that ink on top of the printed paper. Another one with acorn, and I think now I'm starting to repeat the words. Well, that might be the last one with the word together. So getting pretty fast now, working my way to the top and just wanting to complete that. But when I get to the top, there's this tiny little space. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Might come back to it. Having a look at what other little words I've got that I can put down the bottom. And then I decide to commit to that top line because there's the words "can't get enough" that I had originally seen on another stamp set. And I thought it sort of fit with the "can't get enough of this," and then all the words run underneath. Now, I'm stamping the word "life" in acorn, but guess what? I don't notice it straight away, but guess what? That's the sound you make when you realise you've stamped upside down and just have to laugh at yourself. But everything can be fixed. I've stamped it again on a scrap. I'm cutting it out and I'm going to grab my adhesive pair of tweezers to put it back over, and guess what? No one except you and me will be the wiser that it has been stamped incorrectly. So I've finished that off camera, and there's all the colours that I have used in case you wanted to know. Okay, so there it is. Don't know whether I will have messed it up with putting that, but I think it'll be okay once it's got the tag at the front. But let's have a look what it looks like on the page. I'm actually really pleased with that. Just add a little bit of a texture. I think I'm just going to sponge down the side so that it gives it a little bit of colour or dimension. My little mess up there with the word "life" that I stamped upside down. Probably could have left that. Would have been something for everybody to notice. Oh look, I've put dirt on my mats. Okay, so I will sponge that off camera, and I'm going to make my little pocket and print my journaling because I'm nearly finished. Okay, I've turned the camera on. It's a bit messy, but mink's such a light colour. I found when I am just dusting into this, it's really hard to see, but if you put it against the white, you'll be able to see better just how much it is actually colouring that. See the difference? There's too much shadow there. But you get the idea. So I just thought I'd explain how I'm going to print on both sides of this using my computer. So I've created these in Word. You just insert a text box the size that you want. In my instance, it was 7 centimetres by 25 centimetres. That's what I use in Word. I've printed it. I just slid a piece of cardstock into my computer, and that's what it printed. I then cut that off. Okay, and then what I'm actually going to do is, there's a little bit of sticky on here still because I didn't think about what I was doing. So, and then I printed the second one on regular cardstock. So if I put that back in and reprint that one again, it should print in exactly the same spot. So what I'm going to do with just a little bit of forgiving, close to my heart one's quite forgiving, and I can just rub it off afterwards. Oh, actually, usually I don't have the lines on. Oh well, I've done it with lines now, so I guess I'll be keeping that. And I just stick that back over the top, and you can actually hold it up to the light and just see that it's straight and it's lined up. Okay, you won't be able to see me, but I'm going to hold this up to the light, and I can see that the line on this is matching up with the line on the cardstock. So you just hold it up to a bright light and you'll see that that is. So that should now print exactly, actually, where I want it. Okay, so I've brought this off my printer, so you can see it has printed exactly where I wanted it to print. And there's the line there. Look at that, matched up beautifully. And that little bit of sticky that I put on, I can just remove very carefully with my rub and remove. If you don't have one of these, then you need to get one. Okay, and that can go in the bin. Okay, I did do it again. only because I wanted to allow a bit more room at the top to attach a tab. So look how close I cut that. Look at that. So that is what you can achieve by sticking it over the top with care. So now I'll just again take that sticky bit off. And I'm going to go cut a little tab, straighten that up so that that can stick out of the top. Okay, just jumping back on to see, this is not something I've done before, but I thought I would try it. Rather than use another piece of cardstock, I had a memory sleeve which I had cut into incorrectly. So I had this memory sleeve hanging around for a while which had a cut in it, and I knew I'd find a use for it at some point. So I've just cut a strip out of it, and I'm going to stick that on there, just using red line tape on the side because I don't need it to be puffy and out, I don't think. I am putting some foam tape on the bottom just so that it's got a little bit more room, and maybe I'll put a little bit of foam tape just at the top, maybe in 1 or 2 places, but I just want it to be strong, so that's why I've used the red line tape. So let's see how that goes. So there we are, all finished. So my 4 things were special days, being the reunion, the one word, in quotes, one word title, stamps. Well, I've used tons of stamps. I really love getting into my stamps at the moment. And the mixing old with you is actually some of the stamps too. So all these little words here, half of them are from a brand new set just being released, and half of them are from an old set. So that's my old with new, though a number of these stamp sets are old as well. I hope you've enjoyed watching that, and it encourages you to get your old and new stamp sets out and try a little bit of creating your own paper or embellishments with them. Thank you for joining me today.